Planet Dolan.
From starting a forest fire to paragliding into a hotel, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from Reddit about the times we thought people were joking when they really weren't. I'm Melissa, and today I'll be your narrator. This story was submitted by Takeninph. Sharky was talking to his father one time when he learned something interesting. During their conversation, he asked his father how he broke his hip. His father gave him an answer he didn't expect. Prior to his birthday, Sharky's father wanted to do something wildly spontaneous. So, he decided to go paragliding. But things didn't go as planned. He lost control of his paraglider and crashed on the roof of his hotel. Sharky thought his father was joking, but the look on his father's face quickly changed his mind. This story was submitted by KidneyStew. Spinal Palm once worked with a man who was a recovering drug addict. The man's mannerisms and communication skills had been affected by his past drug use. He would sometimes even laugh while telling serious stories. One day, he told Spinal Palm about the time when he was little and accidentally set fire to the woods while trying to cremate his dead pet frog. Spinal Palm laughed his ass off, as did his coworker. That was, until he looked at Spinal Palm dead in the eyes with a serious expression. He said, "I'm still not over it." It was something he didn't expect, since his coworker was also laughing hysterically. That was when Spinal Palm felt like an asshole, but thankfully his coworker was cool about it. This story was submitted by PoopDoopTrixie. There was once an intern at the veterinarian's office where Andy worked, who was a very sheltered Mormon. One day, he came into work panicked. He told her that he had his first kiss the night before, asked the girl to marry him, and was concerned about their wedding date. But that wasn't what he was panicking about. He told her that the girl got pregnant because he had kissed her. It took Andy a long time to register why he was absolutely convinced of that, since he had delivered hundreds of kittens and puppies at the office. In addition to animal reproductive anatomy, she thought that he would also know the basics of how humans reproduce. Apparently, she was wrong. This story was submitted by Cakeisfun. One day, Sid came into work and found that his boss was running late. After a while, his boss finally arrived and casually told everyone that their coworker had died the previous night, which was why he was late. Sid's boss was the kind of guy who joked about everything, no matter how serious. Also, he was able to pull it off with a straight face. So, Sid chuckled and said,
"Yeah, right,"
and blew it off. His boss went on to say that their coworker had died from a heart attack.
"Oh, wait. Are you actually serious?"
asked Sid. His boss answered, "Yes," before crying. His boss knew his coworker for many years, which made Sid feel bad for him. This story was submitted by Shampoo and Dick. Nixium used to attend a boarding school. He was far away from where his parents lived. One day, Nixium's brother was kidnapped. Cell phones weren't allowed on campus, so his parents couldn't text him the news. Instead, they told the school's principal, who then told his teachers about the kidnapping, but not to say anything about it. So during finals, Nixium's math teacher accidentally let it slip that his brother had been kidnapped. However, Nixium didn't believe him, replying, "Nice joke, bud." To cover his slip of the tongue, his teacher laughed it off. His parents eventually told him the news about his brother, and that they had been threatened by the kidnappers to give them money, or else they would kill their child. That was the main reason why Nixium's parents didn't want to tell him about the kidnapping. After flunking his finals, he changed his career path and became a police officer. Sadly, his brother was never found. This story was submitted by HealingMoonFarm. Recently, Derek's mother called to tell him that she thought he had the coronavirus. Every year, he has seasonal allergies and no symptoms that are related to the virus. Despite knowing that, his mother proceeded to tell him that scientists had discovered that the virus couldn't survive when it's over 133 degrees Fahrenheit. At first, Derek got excited that a breakthrough had been made. That was, until his mother said, "Yeah, they're saying that if you plug in a hairdryer and keep breathing in the hot air, it will kill the virus and you'll be fine." Thinking she was joking, Derek began cracking up. But then, as soon as his mother, who got offended, said, "Hey, it was a real scientific video that I saw on Facebook." As soon as she told him that, Derek stopped laughing and couldn't help but facepalm. This story was submitted by Squirrelfoot. One summer, Salty Squid went on a Christian camping trip for a week. While walking along the beach one day, he found a stone with some fossils in it. He took it back to a camp to show his fellow campers his cool find. One of the kids suddenly started talking about how God puts fossils in the earth to mislead the vain, who trusted their own observations rather than the Bible. Naturally, Salty Squid thought that he was joking and burst out laughing. The camper, instead of joining in the laughter, got offended. He ended up complaining about Salty Squid to the people who ran the camp. They also thought the camper was joking and laughed in his face. This story was submitted by This Is Who I Am 78. James Shark has a coworker who always says stupid shit. It's so stupid that everyone thinks he's joking when he's being dead serious. One time, he told James Shark that someone needed to invent a reusable paperclip. Another time, he was looking at a vegetable platter and asked James Shark how they grow the celery so small, and that whenever he buys celery, it's much bigger. He didn't know how they grew it so small for the platters. James Shark couldn't believe what he was hearing. He thinks it's amazing how an adult can be that stupid. This story was submitted by kitkatfricklefrack. Dolan used to work in a huge library where he saw many kinds of different people. While working one day, a patron came up to the counter. When Dolan asked him if he needed help, the patron said, "I have a complaint." Dolan replied, "Yes?" "There aren't enough books here," said the patron. Dolan quickly looked around the library before answering. "Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes people just take our books home with them." He laughed, but the patron continued to give him a serious look. He said to Dolan, "You used to have more books." All he could do was nod that he understood the patron's complaint. This story was submitted by Kgunnar. When Paprika was in college, she went with two of her friends to a cheap Chinese buffet for lunch one day. While they sat at a table and ate their food, they noticed a man and woman dressed in business attire. At first, nobody thought anything of it, until the woman approached them. She started chatting with them, which Paprika thought was weird, but decided that the woman was probably just being friendly. That was until she asked them, "Do you guys like to fuck?" Paprika and her friends looked at each other and laughed nervously, since they didn't know how to respond to such a question from a complete stranger. They also thought that she was kidding, but the woman just stood there, completely serious. That was when they realized she wasn't joking. Instead of participating in a gangbang with the woman and the man she was with, Paprika and her friends decided to just go back up to the buffet for seconds. Thanks for watching, everybody!